Have you ever found yourself sitting by the window, watching the sun sink behind the rooftops, and thinking quietly, I wonder what else is out there waiting for me? Maybe you've spent years taking care of others, your children, your spouse, your job, and now, finally, life has slowed down just enough for you to hear that gentle whisper inside saying, it's your turn now. If you've ever felt that tug of curiosity, that quiet urge to go somewhere new, to step into a place where no one knows your name and you don't need to explain who you are or where you've been, then maybe, just maybe, solo travel is calling you. Now, I know what you might be thinking, traveling alone at my age? Isn't that something for the young and adventurous? What if it's lonely, or unsafe, or just too complicated? And those are fair questions. But here's the surprising truth. Traveling alone after 65 might just be one of the most liberating, fulfilling, and joyful experiences of your entire life. In today's video, we're going to explore 6 powerful reasons why solo travel after 65 is not only possible, but deeply rewarding. Whether you've never taken a trip on your own before, or you're already dreaming about the next destination, this conversation is for you. And I promise, by the end, you'll start to see the world, and yourself, a little differently. And hey, if you enjoy thoughtful, uplifting content about health, psychology, and living a meaningful life after 60, I'd be so grateful if you could give this video a like, share it with someone you love, and hit that subscribe button. I'm on a little journey myself, to reach 1,000 subscribers so I can keep spreading content that brings peace, joy, and empowerment to our wonderful community. So let's begin this journey together. Our first reason? Freedom. Pure, unfiltered freedom. When we're younger, most of our travel revolves around other people. Family vacations, business trips, holidays with kids in tow. And don't get me wrong, those are beautiful, important memories. But there's something extraordinary about waking up in the morning, stretching your arms, and knowing you get to decide everything. Where to go, when to eat, whether you want to visit a museum or simply sit under a shady tree in a park with a good book and no schedule. That kind of freedom is rare. And at this stage in life, it's more valuable than ever. Solo travel allows you to tune into your rhythm. If you're someone who enjoys slow mornings with a long coffee and quiet journaling, you can do that, without guilt or explanation. If you get a sudden spark of curiosity and decide to veer off your itinerary and follow a cobblestone street just because it looks interesting, no one will stop you. You're not negotiating with a group. You're listening to yourself. That kind of permission, especially after decades of compromise, is life-changing. And here's something else about freedom, it helps you reconnect with who you are when no one else is around. You might surprise yourself. Maybe you'll discover you love art galleries more than you ever thought, or that you enjoy chatting with strangers over breakfast in a local cafe, or that you're braver than you gave yourself credit for. When you remove the roles and expectations of everyday life, wife, mother, coworker, caregiver, you make space to meet yourself again. And that's a beautiful reunion. The second reason? Confidence. Real, earned confidence that comes not from pretending to be fearless, but from stepping gently into the unknown, and finding that you're stronger than you thought. There's something truly powerful about booking your own ticket, packing your own suitcase, and navigating a new place, even if it's just a nearby town or city. You start to feel capable in a way that's different from how you felt before. It's not about being perfect or knowing everything. It's about learning as you go. And realizing that you can ask questions, can figure things out, can handle unexpected situations. I remember a woman I met on a train in Italy. She was 72, traveling by herself, and had just spent 3 weeks exploring small villages that most tourists skip. She laughed as she told me about the time she accidentally ordered goat stew when she meant to ask for chicken, and how the local chef came out to explain the dish himself, using gestures and smiles. It was the best mistake I ever made, she said. I wouldn't trade that experience for anything. That kind of confidence doesn't just stay on the road. It comes home with you. You carry it in your shoulders, your smile, your way of seeing the world. And that shift can change everything, from how you move through your daily life to how you see yourself in the mirror. You start thinking less about what you can't do, and more about what you might do next. And let's talk about the third reason, connection. It might sound strange at first, but traveling alone can actually lead to more meaningful connections with people than traveling in a group ever could. When you're alone, you're naturally more open, more likely to strike up a conversation with someone in a park, ask a question at the market, or share a meal with someone sitting nearby. Locals tend to approach solo travelers more often, too. There's a quiet openness about being on your own that invites others in. I've heard so many stories from people who made lifelong friends while traveling solo. One woman told me about staying in a bed and breakfast in Ireland, where she ended up sharing stories over tea with the innkeeper's grandmother every night for a week. Another man shared how a simple chat with a bookstore owner in Portugal turned into a 4-hour discussion about poetry and philosophy. These moments aren't planned, they just happen. And they're often the most precious memories we carry back with us. Even when you don't speak the language, kindness has its own universal vocabulary. A smile, a helping hand, a shared laugh, these are the threads that remind us we're never truly alone in the world. Now, if you've been listening and thinking, this all sounds wonderful, but I still feel nervous, let me say this, nerves are normal. In fact, they're a sign that something matters to you. But fear doesn't have to mean stop. Sometimes, it just means you're on the edge of something new. And what's waiting on the other side? Freedom. Confidence. Connection. A deeper sense of yourself, and the world around you. So why not take that first step? So far, we've explored how solo travel can bring an incredible sense of freedom, build confidence, and open the door to unexpected human connections. And those are already powerful reasons to consider packing a bag and stepping out into the world on your own terms. But the magic of solo travel after 65 doesn't stop there. It also invites something many of us long for, perhaps even more deeply as we grow older, reflection and healing. Think about it, how often in your everyday life do you have true quiet? Not just the absence of noise, but real space for your own thoughts, memories, and feelings to stretch out and breathe. Life moves fast, and for years, maybe decades, you've been moving with it, managing schedules, solving problems, supporting others. It's easy to push your own inner world to the side. But when you travel alone, especially to a peaceful place, that quiet finds you. And it can be one of the most surprising and healing gifts of the journey. I remember a woman who shared her story of visiting a small town by the sea. She had lost her partner a few years earlier, and for a long time, she didn't feel ready to do much of anything, let alone travel. But something nudged her, an old postcard she found in a drawer, or maybe just a feeling that it was time. She spent a week walking along the shore, watching the tides roll in and out, and letting herself feel everything she'd been carrying. She didn't try to fix anything or rush her healing. She just made space for it. And by the end of the trip, she said something had softened inside her. She felt lighter, even though nothing had changed except the place and the pace. That's the fourth reason solo travel after 65 can be so meaningful. It gives you time and room to process, to remember, to grieve, to dream, and to make peace with your past. You don't have to talk to anyone unless you want to. You don't have to wear any emotional masks. You get to be fully, quietly yourself. And sometimes, that's when the deepest healing happens. Now, of course, reflection doesn't always mean sitting alone under a tree. Sometimes, it looks like laughter in a street market, or wonder in a centuries-old cathedral, or the simple joy of watching children play in a park half a world away. The point is, solo travel gives you space, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. And for many people in their 60s, 70s, or beyond, that's exactly what the heart has been waiting for. The fifth reason is creativity. You might not expect it, but traveling solo can spark the kind of creativity that's been quietly waiting inside you for years. When you're in a new place, surrounded by unfamiliar sounds, sights, smells, and stories, your mind starts to wake up in new ways. You begin to notice little details again, the colors of laundry hanging in a sunlit alley, the way music drifts through a cafe window, the smell of fresh bread in the morning. Suddenly, life feels vibrant again. You're not just passing through the world, you're experiencing it. And that spark often turns into expression. Maybe you find yourself writing in a journal every evening, capturing moments you don't want to forget. Maybe you start sketching, or taking photographs, or simply noticing beauty where you hadn't seen it before. Some people rediscover a love of poetry while sitting in a quiet square with a cup of coffee. Others start talking to themselves in little voice memos, recording thoughts and stories they hadn't shared with anyone in years. There's something about being in a new environment that unlocks the creative part of your brain, and it doesn't have to be artistic in the traditional sense. It's about engaging with life in a new, playful, deeply personal way. One gentleman I know, in his late 60s, traveled to Japan on his own and ended up learning to fold origami during a rainy afternoon in a local library. He brought home a suitcase full of paper animals and a heart full of stories. He told me, "I hadn't made anything with my hands since I retired. I didn't realize how much I missed it." Solo travel has a way of waking up parts of us that went to sleep a long time ago, not because we stopped caring, but because life got busy. And here's the beautiful thing, that creativity doesn't disappear when the trip ends. You bring it home with you. You start noticing your neighborhood differently. You might take the long way on your walk, just to see what's blooming. You might cook a new dish, inspired by something you tasted abroad. You might sit on your porch and watch the sunset, not just as a daily routine, but as a small, beautiful piece of your story. Solo travel changes the way you see things. And that shift, no matter how small, can brighten the rest of your life. The sixth and final reason might be the most personal of all, self-celebration. You've lived a rich life, full of ups, downs, wisdom, laughter, lessons, and love. You've earned your stripes. And solo travel is a way to honor that. To say, "I'm not done yet. There are still things I want to see, feel, explore, and do, not for anyone else, but for me." Some people throw a big party to celebrate turning 70. Others? They book a ticket and celebrate with a view of the Grand Canyon or the lights of Paris at night. There's no one right way. But doing something bold and beautiful for yourself, just because you can, is a form of self-love that we don't talk about enough. It's not selfish. It's not reckless. It's not indulgent. It's honoring the life you've lived, and the life that's still ahead. When you travel solo after 65, you're telling yourself, and the world, that your story isn't over. In fact, some of the best chapters may still be waiting. You're showing your children, your grandchildren, your friends, and your younger self that age is not a limit. It's a starting point. So take that train. Try that food. Learn that dance. Speak that new word with a smile and no apology. Walk into that museum or temple or garden with curiosity in your heart and light in your eyes. You've earned it. You know, when I think about everything we've shared so far, freedom, confidence, connection, healing, creativity, it all adds up to something even greater. Something that might be the most important of all, a sense of coming home to yourself. Because here's the quiet truth not many people say out loud, especially after retirement, after the kids are grown, after the years of routine have settled in, it's easy to forget who we are outside of our roles. We've been caregivers, workers, spouses, helpers, supporters. We've been the backbone of families and communities. And while those roles are meaningful and beautiful, they can also blur the edges of our individual selves. Solo travel after 65 is not just about seeing new places, it's about remembering who you are when nobody else is asking you to be anything. There's something powerful about waking up in a new place, alone, and deciding, just for that day, what you want to do. No compromises. No schedules unless you make them. No one else's preferences pulling at your time. Just you and the world, side by side. And in that quiet space, something incredible happens. You begin to feel your own rhythm again. You notice what excites you, what soothes you, what brings out your curiosity or joy. You start to feel more present, more alive, more you. One woman shared with me how she spent 2 weeks in a small Italian village, walking to the same cafe every morning for espresso and journaling. Nobody knew her name. Nobody expected anything of her. And yet, she said she felt more seen than she had in years. Why? Because she was finally seeing herself. She laughed when she told me, "I didn't even know I liked figs. But I ate them every day like they were little bites of heaven." That's the kind of self-rediscovery I'm talking about. It's not about grand changes or epiphanies. It's about tuning back into the things that make your heart hum. And here's the best part, this kind of travel, this kind of reconnection, it doesn't need to be far or expensive or even long. You don't have to fly across the globe. Sometimes, just getting on a train to a nearby town for the weekend, or renting a small cabin by the lake, or visiting a museum you've never been to, that's enough to shift something inside. The destination doesn't matter as much as your intention. Go somewhere that gives you space. Go somewhere that sparks your curiosity. Go somewhere that allows you to be fully yourself. Now, I understand that for some people, the idea of traveling alone still feels a little scary. That's okay. It's normal to feel nervous when trying something new, especially when it involves stepping out of your comfort zone. But here's the truth, being brave doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you go anyway. You feel the butterflies, and then you start walking. You take the leap, even if your voice shakes a little. And the incredible thing is, once you do it, even once, you'll realize how strong, capable, and adaptable you really are. And just to reassure you, solo doesn't mean isolated. You can always join a guided tour where you meet other solo travelers your age. You can stay in a cozy bed and breakfast where hosts greet you with warm smiles and helpful tips. You can download apps to help navigate and translate, or even keep in touch with family while you're away. The world is more connected and accessible than ever. And you don't have to do it all alone, you just get to lead the way. In fact, many people find that solo travel gives them more meaningful social interactions than they ever expected. You're more approachable when you're alone. Locals are more likely to start a conversation. Fellow travelers invite you to dinner. And even if the connection lasts only a few minutes, it can leave a warm imprint on your day. It's the kind of open-hearted exchange that often gets lost in the busy shuffle of group trips or tight itineraries. When you travel solo, every moment has room to surprise you. So whether you're dreaming of quiet reflection in the mountains, colorful exploration in a new city, or simply sitting by the ocean with a good book and no obligations, it's all possible. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't need anyone to go with you. You are allowed to want this. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to live fully, right now. Life after 65 isn't the end of the adventure. In many ways, it's just the beginning of a new kind of freedom, a freedom shaped not by what others need from you, but by what your own spirit quietly longs for. And solo travel is one beautiful way to answer that longing. So I invite you, gently and sincerely, to consider this: what place has been calling to you? Is there a spot on the map that's tugged at your heart, maybe for years? Maybe it's somewhere you visited long ago and promised yourself you'd return. Maybe it's somewhere completely new. Maybe it's not even a specific place, but a feeling, a desire to move, to explore, to wake up somewhere unfamiliar and say, "This day is mine." Start small if you need to. A day trip. A weekend getaway. A walk in a new part of town with no destination in mind. Let yourself try. Let yourself be surprised. And most of all, let yourself be seen, by the world, yes, but also by you. If this message speaks to something in you, if you've ever felt the quiet ache for more, or the thrill of adventure knocking on your door, then I hope you'll take that first step. Because you deserve to live a life that lights you up from the inside out. And if you found inspiration in this video today, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever traveled solo? Is it something you've been considering? What places are on your list? Sharing your experience might encourage someone else who needs a little nudge to start their own journey. Don't forget to give this video a like if it warmed your heart or sparked an idea. It really helps more people find this kind of supportive, uplifting content. And if you're not already subscribed, I'd be so honored to have you join this growing community. We're on the path to reaching 1,000 subscribers, and every click helps me keep creating videos like this, designed with love and care, just for you. Until next time, remember this: it's never too late to choose yourself. It's never too late to begin again. And wherever you go, whether near or far, may your journey be filled with wonder, courage, and moments that remind you, you are still becoming, still discovering, still alive in every beautiful way. Here's to living your fullest, most adventurous life, at any age.